This has been the Ridgeway Review on the Palmer Times, host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Ridgeway Review. I'm your host, Sire Mazkeen. We would first like to start off by apologizing for how long it's been since the last Ridgeway Review. A lot of things have been going on lately during Timbo's attention being drawn away from Ridgeway, but he's back, and with his return from his brief hiatus comes the return of the activity of the Palmer Times. Thank you, everybody, for understanding. Moving into the first subject, we will be discussing about the resignation and arrest of Senator Impeach. The State Board of Election hosted a special election for his seat. On Monday night, the SBE announced that Not Feelings won, defeating 4 candidates and also winning over 50% of the vote. With us tonight, we have Senator Not Feelings. Senator, how are we feeling tonight?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great myself. So, what are your priorities in the Senate, would you say?
Basically, our laws are a little fucked here and there. So, I'm a practicing attorney, and some stuff has really been bugging me. So, I figured I'd just run for Senate. Fix all the things that have been making me mad, and then leave it to someone else to have some bright ideas later on.
Being the director of the Ridgeway Bar, did this have to do with anything of you switching over to that transition that ultimately led you winning your election into the Senate?
Well, I didn't transition. I'm still the bar director. But one of the bills I did propose is about the bar itself and licensing attorneys and such. Um, that's available on the Trello. But it is part of the stuff that's been annoying me is the lack of proper laws regarding the bar. So I'm happy to be able to fix that if the Senate would ever get active enough to host a meeting or something.
Would you say that the Senate is in a better shape than it was in a while?
No, it's terrible. It is like actually the worst Senate I've seen. And that includes the David Devil Senate, where David just pushed through whatever he wanted. At least that Senate pushed things through. This Senate has not met, and it's not looking likely to meet based on the inactivity of most of these folks.
With your addition into the Senate, do you have any bills that you have planned in mind, or are you still just getting comfortable into your seat and communicating with other senators
Yeah,
on the
hold on. I
lack of?
proposed like 9. Um, we're gonna make a community park in Sterling Heights. We're increasing the penalties for noise pollution because this is a cops and robbers game, and so if you want to commit murder or robbery, there should be a penalty for that, but it should not be as severe, and we should punish being annoying more severely because at that point you should just have to go touch grass based on how long you're in jail for. I hate people who are just annoying for the purpose of being annoying. It's terrible. Um, we also are changing the line of succession for governor. Um, I don't know why the Secretary of State was first above the Attorney General. Doesn't make any sense to me. If the governor and lieutenant governor are both gone, I think I would much prefer a lawyer to be governor temporarily, rather than a Secretary of State who manages like business registration. It's nothing against or for techie or Jason. It's just some common sense we gotta work in there. Um, I am trying to increase certain speed limits. So, like for example, the road between Palmer and Sterling Heights should be 70, not 50. But at the same time, I can't like just do that. So it would count on developer oversight changing the speed signs. We are changing how employment review works to provide more equitable access to justice for people who have been wrongfully denied employment. We are altering how detainment times work in regards to search warrants so that you can't detain them while you get a search warrant. You have to have the search warrant to detain them indefinitely for that. As I said, we are regulating legal professionals, fixing the bar in the law. We're fixing the broken law that allowed police officers to be insulated in the use of voice chat, but did not allow citizens to be insulated. So a police officer could say, yeah, I totally just killed that guy without justification, and he would not get in trouble. But I could say, hey, I jaywalked, and they could cite me in voice chat for that. So we're changing that, extending that protection to all citizens, regardless of whether or not they're police officers. And I think the last one is a constitutional amendment for term limits, because it is not helpful to our democracy that we are consistently seeing the same people take and hold office again and again. Like, Large was governor for like over a year, guys. What the hell? So what it would do is it would make it so you can't serve more than 2 terms consecutively. So you could do like 2 terms, wait 1, and then run again, but not 3 terms in a row. I think that's it.
I wanted to grasp your opinion on how you stated the genre of our type of group. You said it was moving away, not really moving away from more of a role-playing aspect, but stating it more as a cops and robbers. Do you feel like our certain law, like the laws that we have implemented in the statutes that we have within the DOS database, do you think that those apply well to our group, or is there room for change and improvement as the group grows?
I think it's fine. I mean, you have to consider there's always room for improvement. And improvement is subjective as well. Like, some people are going to like things, some people will not. You got to try to find a middle ground and go from there. But the laws largely relate to fairness and justice, like for people outside of the game, joining departments, applying, all that kind of stuff. And so it is important that we have those laws, even though, well, yes, it's cops and robbers, and it's literally Iraq in every server all the time. It's important to have those laws because it keeps the rest of us grounded. And, when you feel like something is unfair or like a wrong has been done, you have somewhere to look to try to see, what the rules are. And if the rule agrees with you, you can take it to court. You can try to get justice on that. And, I know there are quite a few lawyers out there trying to do right for the people.
Another thing I wanted to also ask you, with the addition of duplicated items on the street, I don't think this was really added as a thought because of this, but there was speculation rumoring around that there was a possible burn act that was in the play that worked very well in Mayflower and to be possibly brought here. I just wanted to grasp more of your opinion on what you think the burn act could bring in terms of our LEO getting more illegal firearms off the street, but also how a citizen's standpoint would, like, how their opinion would be of it.
Sure. I think, we don't need that. Mayflower and Ridgeway have different mechanics. In Ridgeway, we have search warrants, and we have seizure of items. And I'm just going to pull up the bill here just to make sure I know what I'm talking about. The Burn Act says that when a vehicle has been searched with a search warrant, and the vehicle that was searched was discovered to contain 10 or more illegal items, they can blow up the car. Um, I don't see why. Like, what are you doing? You know, once you do the search warrant, you have to seize the items and then you have to write a receipt. That's enshrined in the law. So you're just blowing up an empty car for the purpose of what? Being annoying? Like the government is pretty much unlawfully seizing those vehicles um, permanently by deleting them from existence. And I advised the governor on that, and I believe he vetoed the bill on those grounds. Kind of a useless act, and we should focus on actually removing the firearms and trying to stop the firearms from coming into the community in the first place.
Well, that's the only questions that I have, Senator. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Moving on to our next subject, the Ridgeway County Transit Authority has released applications for its 28th class. What are the requirements, you may ask? You must be a resident in the state of Ridgeway. You may not have over 15 records, and none of those records must not have obtained those records within 2 weeks of applying. On top of that, your Roblox inventory must be visible, and you must pass a background check conducted by RCTA. Ridgeway County Transit Authority is also a great community and has very good work environment for those looking to start out their career within the state of Ridgeway. Good luck to those who have applied, and I can believe they are now closed as of now. On May 6th, Senator Japan 2S was compelled to appear before the Ridgeway Superior Court. Judge Koala 4L, for life, gave the senator 3 days to appear. This is the third day for her to appear before she is declared as a fugitive from justice. What does being a fugitive from justice mean? It means that she will be fired from every job she both has in the government and in the private sector. She will not be able to own any type of weapon. The government can search her property at any time without a warrant. She won't be permitted to own or register any business. She won't be able to process sugarcane or any sugarcane paraphernalia. And lastly, she won't be eligible for re-election, which is right around the corner in a couple of weeks. Still before that, she would like to be expelled from the Senate. Last night, however, Senator Japan finally made her voice heard before the court just before the deadline. On April 21st, 2024, Senator Japan 2S was indicted by a grand jury for attempted murder, aggravated assault, official misconduct, unlawful discharge of a firearm. Senator Japan 2S, who was performing her duties as a guardsman at the time, allegedly attempted to shoot a person to death after they had brandished a firearm for less than a second. The senator then also fled from the incident. The Palmer Times will keep you updated by articles and possibly even a 30-minute video on the situation. Moving on, the Bank of Ectoplex has allegedly been scamming their clients. As of now, there were about 4 victims. One victim, Roloman, came to the Palmer Times and told us his story. Roloman was in the process of trying to purchase a penthouse from the bank for $50K. As Mr. Roloman was in the process of buying the penthouse from the bank, he transferred the money and he was banned from the Bank of Ectoplex Discord and never received his property. Mr. Roloman is currently in the process of suing the Bank of Ectoplex. This is just one instance out of a series of allegations against the Bank of Ectoplex. Ectoplex says that there's no proof and that this is all fabricated. Well, here's the proof, and that it all was fabricated. Then someone did a damn good job. Ectoplex has been attempting to crack down on the amount of employees conducting fraudulent activities. However, Ecto himself, who has allegedly scammed Mr. Rolleman, on Thursday, their anti-fraud department caught and fired one of their employees who attempted to conduct a fraudulent transaction. We contacted and asked Mr. Ectoplex, the owner of Bank of Ectoplex, about the situation. Mr. Ectoplex says the allegations are all fake, all the haters, and that his company has always valued his customers. He also says that, and he quotes, "I," meaning he, has always helped the local community, and that he can't sleep at night now, knowing that he took someone's money away. It would make him feel very bad. This makes about 5 reported instances of fraudulent activity in the bank in the last week alone. Ridgeway Goods & Co. has released a safety warning, warning people of the scam and urging them to leave the Bank of Ectoplex server. The owner has listed all victims of the scam, including Mr. Rolleman. However, the owner of Ridgeway Goods & Co., sorry if I botched your name, Addictive Fruits, was fired for allegedly attempting to conduct a fraudulent transaction. This creates a bit of confusing narrative. The Palmer Times contacted Addictive Fruits about his termination from the Bank of Ectoplex, and it turns out that Addictive Fruits was never even worked for the Bank of Ectoplex, and that Ectoplex is making rumors against him. However, Ectoplex says that Addictive Fruits tried to scam someone out of $250K to get his business shut down. This situation is one small part of a much larger problem that the government is ignoring to some degree. The Ridgeway housing crisis. People cannot afford houses. Real estate companies have bought up every single house, and they're marking them up for over 500% of what they're actually worth. The thought of buying a house in Sterling for $3,000 is no more. You're going to be paying at least $10,000, and there's no way to getting around the situation unless you manage to get lucky and find an open house. Hear about this and more on 30 Minutes. The Ridgeway housing crisis releases in a couple of weeks. Moving back to the Senate. The Senate Judiciary Committee is allegedly plotting to remove Attorney General Techie. Now that I must emphasize, we don't know exactly what for. However, it is allegedly for prosecution of Governor Matrix Ock and his co-defendant Brandon Love and Royalty Sin. Is the Senate Judiciary Committee going to blatantly admit this? No. However, considering that mandatory morales passed with the Attorney General after his prosecution, for some it may be a logical conclusion that this is a revenge for not only his prosecution, but also for Governor Matrix Ock's prosecution. Now, this is all speculation for you to take however you want. However, it has been confirmed that the Senate Judiciary Committee is plotting to remove the Attorney General. Senator Timbo Walk says that he will not be voting yes on his removal unless it is extremely clear that the Attorney General isn't doing his job correctly. We are proud to announce a new segment on the Ridgeway Review that will happen every single week. This is the Legislative Tracker. What is the purpose of the Legislative Tracker, you may ask? The purpose of the Legislative Tracker is to inform you about every law currently processed to the State Senate docket. It is vitally important that you are informed about what the senators you elected into office are trying to do. Moving on to the first bill, we have S6-44, an amendment to the Military Act. The amendment to the Military Act was introduced by Senator Vince Fant. The purpose of the law is to, and he quotes, broaden the enforcement authorities of the military police to include the State Guard. The law allows for the military police to detain members of the State Guard for various violations of RNG policy and the law. S6-48, the Enhanced Fugitive Recovery Act. The Enhanced Fugitive Recovery Act was introduced by Senator Vince Fant. The purpose of the law is to enhance restrictions on criminal fugitives from justice with assorted penalties. The law reduces the amount of relief for all claims filed by a fugitive from justice. S6-51, the Ridgeway Antitrust Act. The Ridgeway Antitrust Act was introduced by Senator Japan 2S. The purpose of the law is to encourage free and open competition in the interest of general welfare and economy by prohibiting unreasonable restraints of trade and monopolistic practices within the state. S6-54, the Aaron Burr Act. The Aaron Burr Act was introduced by Senator BR 1452232. If you feel like this is reading I'm sorry for reading that. I'm sorry for reading the numbers. The law allows for two people to duel if they meet the following criteria. A, the duel is outside city limits. B, the duel is executed on foot if it were using firearms. C, the consent to duel is written and signed by both parties with a third party present to witness the duel. D, the duel doesn't threaten anyone else but the two parties that consented to the duel. And E, that the duel is recorded by at least one person. S6-56, the Dirty Cash Act. The Dirty Cash Act was introduced by Senator and President Pro Tempore of the Senate, Timbo Walk. The bill makes the possession of traceable cash unlawful and arrestable for petty theft. N6-19, the governor has nominated former Governor Larch Titanic to fill the vacancy of the director position within the Ridgeway County Transit Authority. After questioning from a special selection committee consisting of Senator Timbo Walk, Vince Fant, and Japan 2S, Larch Titanic has been favorably recommended to the Senate. That is all for the legislative tracker today. If something concerns you or you just want to file a complaint against a senator for the law they make sure to contact them. The purpose of the legislative tracker is to make sure that you're making your voice heard about the laws that our senators within our state create that you want passed, and that you're making informed decisions on whether or not you would like to keep them in office. The Alder Group and the Palmer Times have released an omnibus poll. Be sure to do it in the pinned chat and newsfeed in the description below. The more surveys we have in, the more accurate our polls are, in which it is extremely important to us. So please help us out on the poll. Thank you very much. This week's business of the week is Ridgeway Goods & Co. Won everything in the game, but for a significantly cheaper price. That's the place you would like to go to. Want to invest into Ridgeway, you may ask? That's the place you would like to go to. As of now, the price for one share is $7,000, $750, for weekly dividends that you can collect cash and cash out at any time. As of now, the weekly dividends are $275. However, they are subject to change weekly depending on the prices of their share. That is all for the Ridgeway review tonight. We don't usually air on Mondays, however, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday, we all had conflicts that didn't allow us to air on those days. Thank you all very much for tuning into the Ridgeway review this week. Until Thursday, stay safe and have a great week. You can stay if you would like to hear Ghoul Yap, aka Taken. He was just brutally murdered, so give him a minute.
Dad, Ghoul, are you okay? Oh my god, I tapped back in game and you're dead. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm charging you on your main account.
Dude, it wasn't even me. What do you mean? I was AFK.
And the two guys that you were with too, like the psych guy and the other guy, I'm charging both of them as well.
Oh no. Skull emoji. I was AFK, I don't know you want from me.
Yeah, it's okay. Your accounts are linked anyways.
Oh, okay. Smart. So I have to use the restrooms.
This has been the Ridgeway Review on the Palmer Times, hosted by Sire Mazakine. Make sure to tune into the Ridgeway Review next week to get a recap on all possible upcoming news.